Welcome back to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Cato. The release of a controversial video allegedly featuring Hungarian opposition leader Péter Magyar, head of the TISA party, made headlines on Thursday. Magyar has characterized the leak as a smear campaign orchestrated by the ruling Fidesz party. As Viktor Orbán's primary challenger in the upcoming April parliamentary elections, Magyar addressed the allegations immediately. Following the incident, he has traveled to Munich on Friday to hold bilateral talks with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference. To discuss the developments, I am joined by Tomáš Strážay, Director of the Slovak Foreign Policy Association. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
So before we delve into the details of these developments, I wanted to play a part of Péter Magyar's statement from yesterday evening.
And although the coming days will certainly be extremely difficult emotionally for my sons, aged 11, 14 and 17, I still trust that we will get through this horror together. What is certain is that no matter what happens, they will feel at every moment that they are the most important thing to me. Whatever vileness the mafia is preparing against us, I will always be able to look them in the eye, and I will always be there for them. And for Viktor Orbán, I have this message. This vile, corrupt power has 59 days left. As you sow, so shall you reap. You will not be able to intimidate or blackmail me. The Russian secret services and their assistance will not be enough, nor will the flood of falsified videos. Destroying my family will not be enough. A significant majority of Hungarian people see through the lies and inhumanity of the Orbán government. 59 days, and the hour of judgment will strike.
So these were very strong words coming from Péter Magyar, but also a very dignified, calm statement. Péter Magyar was warned of this Russian-style smear campaign, including the sex tape that was released. How credible are these claims?
Well, I think that it necessarily has to be perceived as part of the really dirty campaign before the Hungarian parliamentary elections. The analysts and the politicians on TISA side actually predicted that some dirt actually would come up during the campaign, and obviously there is less than 2 months left, so it's the peak of the campaign, and I think these are already the heavy guns. Actually, the Orbán's government, the Fidesz government, has against Péter Magyar and the TISA party. Well, it's quite, I would say, probable that foreign services, especially Russian service, would have been included in this. It is also necessary to actually take into the consideration that the act that the campaign refers to happened already in the summer of 2024. So it's not actually accidental that it is taken and highlighted just 2 months, less than 2 months to the election day.
Magyar's immediate response on X was very calm. We mustn't forget how difficult this must be for his children. But what response have you observed among the Hungarian public?
Well, I would say that Péter Magyar has not built his campaign on being really a convinced conservative politicians. Of course, he somehow valued national values and national identity and Christian values as such. But the simple fact that he got divorced with his wife, she served as the Minister of Interior for one of the Orbán's government, already actually somehow declares that people couldn't have expected and can't expect from him to be, a person with no stains and just with completely amazing family story. And so, no, he presents himself as part of ordinary Hungarian, actually, people who have their sins behind them, but actually they are fighting for the right thing, which is the replacement of the corrupted government, the government that goes against the interests of the ordinary people of Hungary itself. So I think that this is not going to actually make his voters disappointed. I think it might influence the part of the population or the voters who are not decided yet. But even there, I would not be so exaggerating, and I would just say that the influence of this particular campaign would only be limited.
Péter Magyar then took to X and he presented photographs and showed that he was traveling to the Munich Security Conference, one of the most important geopolitical events of the year, and he's due to meet with Prime Minister Donald Tusk. What could be on their agenda?
Well, I think that it's in the program of the TISA party that the restart of Polish-Hungarian relations are one of the main aims in foreign and European policy of the new government, if TISA would be in charge to create it. So I think that it's natural that that the talks with Donald Tusk are going on. They belong to the same party family on the European level, meaning the TISA party and Citizens Coalition, Koalicja Obywatelska in Poland. So this might be one part of the story or of a dialogue. And of course, I think that he seeks, meaning Péter Magyar seeks for the support in the campaign. So if Foreign Minister Rubio is going to step by in Budapest in just a few days, I think that some signals from Poland can be expected to be sent to the Hungarian opposition, in meaning supportive signals by Prime Minister Tusk or the other top representatives of the current Polish government. Also taking into the consideration that the Polish-Hungarian relations are perhaps the worst in the last decades. So these all can be part of such a dialogue, and perhaps some other things, including how to deal with the external interference in domestic affairs of Poland, Hungary, and particularly in election campaigns.
Do you think that Magyar might seek Donald Tusk's personal endorsement?
I think that it is probable because of their closeness, their political closeness. They're belonging to the EPP group on the European level. So for Prime Minister Tusk, Péter Magyar represents the alternative to the government that turned out to be really unfriendly against the current Polish government. It crossed the red line several times in a number of ways or issues. So I think that a close relationship and the support from the Polish side might be expected. And maybe Péter Magyar also counts on this support, because for ordinary Hungarian people, Polish people are considered to be, friendly, and also there are historical reasons for such a friendship. And I would say that the majority of Hungarians are disappointed of bilateral relations between two countries being too bad. So maybe Péter Magyar would offer an option in this, and this should be appreciated, or is going to be appreciated by Donald Tusk as well.
Well, we're talking about Péter Magyar, understandably, but just as we wrap up, how decisive are these April elections for Hungary's political future? And do you think that there is actually a chance that Orbán might still win?
Well, I think that, yes, definitely. There are different scenarios on the table. One of them can be the victory of Viktor Orbán and the continuation to a certain extent of his government. I mean, it would be already the 20 plus years in the government, because he came to the government in 2010, which is already 16 years, but plus we have to also add the 4 years between 1998 and 2002, when Fidesz was the ruling party. So yes, there is an intention of Orbán and his government to do everything possible to win the election, and if not win, then to undermine and somehow make them problematic. Of course, even if TISA and Péter Magyar would win, I think that there are obstacles on the road after the elections, because representatives of the Fidesz party and affiliated people being present in many state institutions, including judicial institutions, and I think that these people would make the new government, would make the work of the new government to be harder. Something what can be perceived to a certain extent also in Poland, but in a somehow different, slightly different way.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomáš Strážay, Director of the Slovak Foreign Policy Association. Thanks so much for your insight this evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. And that is a wrap for World Talks. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.